Welcome back to the Cowpox Bros podcast. Jason and I are just finishing up our discussion about the history of Labor Day and the importance of labor unions in America. Segment 2, we're going to be talking about a sports really crisis, which is Bishop Sycamore, which really sounds like a fake name. It screams Ron Mexico, Jason. Tell me I'm lying.
I didn't think it was that bad, but again, I just think it's hilarious. But I'll definitely go into that. But yeah, it's name's not that bad, but the story's even probably worse than the name. But yeah,
All right, so I'm referencing USA Today here, but for the uninitiated, Bishop Sycamore, according to USA Today, was the Ohio institution that claims to be a high school despite having no physical address and has scheduled football games against powerhouses across the country, continues to evolve. Largely unknown outside of Ohio, Bishop Sycamore went viral after it scheduled a game against the number 2 team in the country, according to MaxPreps.com, IMG Academy. The game was televised on ESPN. Bishop Sycamore lost this game 58-0. Damn! Which was later revealed to be its second game in 3 days. Bishop Sycamore claims to be in Columbus, Ohio, though there's no address listed on the website, and the About Us and staff pages on the site are blank. Wow. The craziest part of the Bishop Sycamore story isn't that a possibly fake school sprouted up in Columbus, Ohio, which is awfully close to Jim Tressel's side of town, and started scheduling football games against a string of powerhouse programs around the country. It's that this has already been done before, and by many of the same people. Just 3 years ago, a school called Christians of Faith, COF, Academy was created in Columbus under dubious circumstances, with the football team serving as its lone public face. Sad. The school did not appear to have a legitimate physical address. It's unclear what schooling actually took place, and it was run by a similar cast of characters who have been involved with Bishop Sycamore, including Roy Johnson, who went on to become the head football coach at the current school before he was fired earlier this week. Oh, it gets better. It gets better, Jason. Andre Peterson, who played for Jim Tressel at Youngstown State in the 1980s, is Bishop Sycamore's founder, director, and currently coaches the football team's offensive and defensive lines. Peterson defended Bishop Sycamore's purpose of giving players a better chance of playing college football and denied any inkling of a scam related to the Sunday's game or Bishop Sycamore. He is quoted, "There's nothing that I've gotten out of this that would constitute it as a scam because I'm not gaining anything financially for what we're doing," Peterson told USA Today on Monday night. "The reality of it is that I have a son, Javon, that's also on the program and has been in the program for 4 years." Hold up, fam. So basically he's saying because there's nothing monetarily, this isn't shady as fuck. Wow. Jason, what are your thoughts on that? Like, and when I say that, I mean, number one, the fact that this damn school don't exist.
well, first off, full disclosure, I am a fan of the Michigan Wolverines football team, so let me just put that out there right now. But with that being said, I find this story 100% hilarious, quite frankly. The fact that this football team somehow found its way on playing a highlighted game on ESPN. It's like, okay, did nobody do any vetting of this program before they put them on TV? So I find that hilarious. I find a connection to it's in Columbus, Ohio, which is in the same town as the Ohio State Buckeyes, the rival of the Michigan Wolverines. And I find it even more hilarious the fact that there is that small connection between Bishop Sycamore and Jim Tressel, a coach who, under his reign at the school, has had some players come under fire for some, I don't want to say unscrupulous things that happened, but for some things that got the school program in trouble, at least one of the players in trouble. So I find that part hilarious. But also, as you mentioned, this kind of story and everything roots back to 2018 in the fall of 18 when Roy Johnson, who was the coach of, or first was the coach of Bishop Sycamore, had that program in fall of 18. You mentioned the Christians of Faith and whatnot. Um, Again, they had the same goal as Bishop Sycamore. We're going to have helping the at risk youth. Scrutiny determined, hey, this might not be an actual school. They went under investigation, so forth and so forth. Then in 2019, a program called Youth Build Centurions was founded also in Columbus, Ohio. With
Centurion, like the Centurions?
yeah,
Shout out to anyone who actually remembers that cartoon, the Centurions.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But that program was rebranded. They were basically a rebranding of the Christians of Faith, and this was another online charter school. Blah 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 blah. But the
Fucking
school would be rebranded again as Bishop Sycamore. And an article pretty much said that Bishop Sycamore, in their first year, they went 5-6 in their first season against a schedule that only featured one Ohio school, and basically the school is not a member of the Ohio State Athletic Commission. All right. Fast forward a little bit to September 2019, they had a match against a school in West Virginia that got canceled because the school in West Virginia found out that the Centurions had numerous players that were over the age of 18. Fast forward again to the next September in 2020. They played their first registered football game that was recorded on Max Preps, losing 35-0 to a non-conference opponent. Ahead of that game, the athletic director of that school, Dave Brown, speaks to a news outlet saying that they curiously noted that he doesn't want players or coaches to look up information about the team online. I try to encourage our athletes and our coaching staff to stay off the internet. Brown says a curious concept considering Bishop Sycamore is an online school. A little weird. They actually played IMG Academy for the first time back in October of 2020, also getting blown out 56-6, finishing the season 0-6 with their closest game being a 37-14 loss. And now we move forward to this year. Back in April, apparently they started hyping up the team, whatnot, hired like an advertising agency and everything like that, hyping them up, whatnot. They actually, I'll get to the name of the, actually, I'll go ahead and tell you now. But the name of the agency was Paragon Management. But anyway, fast forward now to this August. They play a game against, on the 19th, play a game against a Archbishop Hoban, losing 38-0. And we mentioned they played the game against IMG Academy the second time this year on August 29th. You mentioned it was their second game in 3 days because they had played a game on the 27th against another team, lost 19-7. And as we know in football, especially high school football, you're not supposed to be playing games that close together. Double the fact that the school, excuse me, I don't want to be saying school, but the football team has a very low number of actual players on the team. I think I saw the number was somewhere in the 30s. So a lot of the players play both ways, play offense and defense. So clearly in one game, that's going to take a lot out of you. But here they are playing 2 games like that in 3 days, which I'm sure didn't help with them playing the second, ranked team in the country, losing 58-0. And that's what really started people digging into the school because thanks to the help of Paragon Management, they were being hyped up as having players who were being recruited by Division I schools, having workouts with these schools, stuff like that. Well, I didn't see the game, but I would imagine.
Apparently, neither did the players.
well. But that's what got people started digging into them because I could imagine with IMG Academy being the second-ranked team in the country, playing against these guys who were probably dead tired, I'm sure any expert could see that, okay, where are these players that are being recruited by Division I schools? Because I don't see them on the field. And that's when people started digging into them with the address and basically all the lack of information on their website. And that's how we got to the story that we're at today, is that people quickly realized that they're not an actual school. I think I saw a Twitter post that mentioned, I'm going to let you jump in here in a second. I saw a Twitter post with their address that they have listed on the website comes up to like a duplex, somebody's house.
What you trying to say?
And then some other address they had was like at a local library on the campus of another college in Franklin, college or whatever in Columbus, Ohio, as well. So, um, yeah, it's definitely clearly they're not an actual school. And I think since the here recently in the last day or so, the former coach or current coach has actually come out and actually officially said in public that quote unquote we are not a school. So there you go. But somehow the football team made it all the way to ESPN. So as funny as I think it is, in a way, I almost gotta say kudos to them because you were able somehow to get that school and program on ESPN. Not looking great, but still, guess what? Like I said in the last segment, hey, you showed up and you were there. So kudos to you.
Hashtag my mom made it.
Participation trophy.
Right. Yeah. A real deal participation trophy. I don't feel like that's a participation trophy if you're getting your ass whooped 58-0.
Somehow they were saying they're uplifting at risk youth. I
Use.
I mean they're playing the game, but I don't know how uplifting it is to lose and get blown out every single game. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's very much we out here changing lives, but you
For the better though. So
but you're not. You're not. You're really not changing lives. You are holding on to a dream that is not only not deferred. That shit don't exist. Okay.
I have a dream doesn't happen on the field when Bishop Sycamore's there. So there you go.
My God, Bishop Sycamore.
I'm sorry, Martin Luther King, but it's not there.
Yeah, I yeah. Bishop McNamara probably would have done better against IMG than Bishop Sycamore.
Sycamore or was it Syca-Less?
Yeah. So, yeah, that is truly a sickness. If y'all want to play that bad, I'm sorry. Y'all gonna have to figure out something else.
Well, I mean, them playing isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's still organized football, which I definitely get the benefit of sports, so I get that. But I guess I'm just wondering where the disconnect was, where the vetting process was for even with the Paragon management
The
when it comes
disconnect is
to
that they was lying.
okay, well, like I guess if you're Paragon, I think there's an article about this. But if you're Paragon, though, at what point do you vet this program to say, hey, before you start pitching it to ESPN? But then also on ESPN's part, now I probably would put more fault in Paragon than I do ESPN because you think by this management team kind of letting you know about them that they would have done their own research to say, hey, okay, this is probably a legit program because Paragon's telling me about it. So I don't know, but it's just very interesting and hilarious that they made their way to ESPN. I remember seeing the game, a lot. I wouldn't watch it. I remember, scrolling through the channels and seeing it. I'm like, here goes ESPN playing another football game. So I took note that it was IMG versus Bishop Sycamore. The score wasn't anywhere close to 58-0 yet, but they were getting blown out, obviously. And I just kept scrolling, and then all of a sudden, the next few days, that's when I'm like, I remember scrolling past that game. So it's kind of crazy, though.
Yeah, I just can never bring myself to watch that stuff on ESPN anyway. So like I'd rather watch some Pete Weber type shit um on like a off chance on ESPN than some random ass high school football game. Like this shit is crazy.
Hey, peep this. So you mentioned the old boy saying he wasn't doing anything for money or trying to get money, so it's not really fraud. But
Oh
I did.
yeah, that was a great pull quote by the way. It's like, hey, since money didn't change hands, I'm not being shady. I'm like, that sounds like something a shady person would say.
Well, I tell you what. So about a week ago, apparently, Bishop Sycamore posted. Now I say a week ago, as of I believe the 31st. So they posted. Bishop Sycamore posted a GoFundMe. Yeah, in their attempt, their goal was seeking $20,000. And here's the note they put along with this. It said, "We are Bishop Sycamore, a new football team, or excuse me, a new football program getting established in Columbus, Ohio. We play a national schedule, which is ranked 4th in the nation.
It
We
means
have
nothing. It's fucking unicorn bullshit.
no,
Like
hang on,
that's hilarious.
no, hang on. We have gathered we have gathered young men from all over the country in the pursuit of a similar goal. We currently need your assistant with helping these young men achieve their goals and aspire other young men to do the same. It takes a community to raise a child. Please be that community and help these young men. Please help us with funding team meals, travel expenses, and equipment costs.
Make that
Now,
change.
granted, their goal was 20,000. I think they raised between 140 and 200. So nowhere close to it. But still, the fact that it was out there, no fraud involved though.
Yeah, the fucking balls on these people. I tell you, man.
What are you gonna do? I mean,
yeah.
Again,
The only thing worse than the grift is the people that get suckered into the grift, and then when you actually try to shed light and say and connect these dots, these people are so entrenched and committed to this fucking scam that they'll just keep spending more time on it and money.
It's not a scam, Terrence. It's not a scam. He said it clearly. It's not a scam.
Well,
did you hear him?
As long as he hears them, I guess that's all that matters, isn't it?
But on the serious side, though, I guess in some regard, which may be nothing, I guess what can happen. I was going to say what's next for the students, or I can't say students. They're not students at this school. That's not a school. They don't offer a curriculum per what's his name, Roy Johnson. So,
Jason, you realize you sound like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, right? I'm a school disguised as a school disguised as another school.
I never actually watched that movie, but
oh my god, dude!
I honestly, literally I've seen clips. I literally have no desire to see that movie. I don't think it's any funny. I can't take Robert Downey Jr. seriously as a comedic actor. So,
it's so good. It's so good.
I'm gonna probably disagree with you.
It's so funny. Listen, you realize how funny a movie has to be that black people are actually okay and willing to look the other way for you doing blackface? You realize how fucking funny that movie was?
That's part of the reason why I had no desire to see it. But getting back on topic. But yeah, Meryl, I mean, I guess the question I would have is what's next for the kids, the athletes, which maybe nothing. I mean, it's good football experience that they have, which I don't know how they're going to use it going forward. But at the same time, like I said, they might have got blown out, but guess what? They have film of themselves being on ESPN. So how many of us can actually say that? I've never been on ESPN.
Yeah, but I don't actually look at that as a win. That is not the win that people are going to try and configure that into. Sorry, kids, that is not a flex. Not my America.
Well, that's outsiders' opinions, but I'm talking about if I'm one of the players, I'm still going to look at it as a flex because because guess what? They probably had no hand in any underhanded thing that got them to ESPN. They probably didn't.
Them having no hands or no fucking dexterity is probably why they got blown out 58-0.
That's true, but I'm not talking about how they performed. I'm talking about how they got on ESPN in the first place. That's probably no fault of their own. These are probably the fault of the adults getting them to that point. I mean, because even if you were a player on that team and realizing that you probably had no business playing at IMG Academy, whether it's televised or not, are you really going to say, Coach, hey, we shouldn't be doing this? Or are you going to say, hey, I'm going to get on that field because I'm going to be on ESPN? I think I saw some of those 34 players on the team. I don't want to pretend to be in their heads, but I'd be shocked and surprised if a good portion of them weren't thinking that I'm about to be on ESPN.
I mean,
they're probably giving their full effort because they're playing a football game, but they're just outmatched skill-wise.
Here's the thing. ESPN is such a phenomenon, and to hell with anybody that says otherwise. That's why when you had fully packed stadiums, even on some regular ass day in November, you would have kids storm the field or storm the court because that's what it means. Like that was going viral for them. So for some people, I'm sure it is an accomplishment. I just don't know if that really moves the needle for me personally, but it's not for me to say.
Well, again, we're not talking about ratings here. Again, I'm talking about it is no fault of the kids and them being in that game on TV.
Yeah, I'm not even talking ratings, dude. I'm just talking about You know how some people act like, "Oh, I'm on TV."
Okay.
So
No. Okay, yeah. I'm on TV as you're like in the background of a news reporter interviewing somebody else that's not you. But I'm talking about the fact that these guys are in an actual football game. So I'm just saying, again, as somebody who played baseball, I wouldn't be mad at the fact that if my team, little league or high school, was on ESPN playing the game. I
that's
would, granted, I don't want to get blown out.
right. No, who really wants to get their ass kicked like that? So
Nobody. But you know what? I would still enjoy the fact that for once I have a moment being on ESPN. Let's be honest here. I don't think any kid, any youth, or no matter what sport, is going to be mad about the fact that they played a game on ESPN.
true
Period.
that.
Because how many high school kids are going to be able to say that?
True that. All right. That concludes the second segment on the fun that is Bishop Sycamore. Love that name.
Syca-Less.
Coming up next, we're going to be talking about the 20th anniversary of September 11th. Guys, think about where you were when 9/11 happened. And for some of us who've had children, we've had to actually explain how the world has changed since then. Coming up next on Cow Park Bros.